All right, so last time I was here, we talked a little bit about Charlie Brown, and my editing skills are just not there yet.
I got
you. You know, I work a full-time job, so in order to get my videos edited, it probably takes me a little longer than the normal content creator. I had somebody call me out on my video about Charlie Brown that the setup that was in Charlie whenever we were talking last isn't the setup that's in Charlie Brown now.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming. We talked about it after the video, but now it's, you know, it's out there.
Charlie, everybody likes their Charlie with boost. Maybe not everybody.
Look, everybody likes Charlie with boost. Yeah. So I do anyway. So could you just tell me some of the changes that you've made? And I know you all have a video on it. I'll drop a link to that below. But yeah, just let me know some of the changes that you made on Charlie.
Yeah, so the 774 cubic inch nitrous engine that everybody loves so much, including us, we did take it out. We blew it up at Yellow Belly. We did kind of have a plan in motion even before that to possibly change over to a ProCharger. We've been a proud ProCharger dealer for a long time. Brad and I have raced a turbo car. A lot of people don't know that. They think that we've been nitrous forever, and that's not true. We started with a turbo deal because a turbo, in our opinion, besides like a street car, like, you know, just throwing nitrous on it. Nitrous is a cheap way to add a little bit of horsepower. But when you're talking about big numbers, you know, turbo is still the easiest. So we had a white SN95 Mustang that we raced a class called Limited 235. We actually won the championship with that car the second year out with it. But it was just a 6.0 block, so fat, you know, just cheap LS stuff. It had a 4.8 crankshaft in it, so it was a D-stroke deal. So stock block, factory crank. We raced it with factory heads for a long time. Drives me crazy when I see people looking for a good set of cylinder heads and they have a crappy turbo. Spend your money on good turbos and keep your stock cylinder heads. We went 470s on stock cylinder heads.
Do you remember which ones they were?
It doesn't matter. They were like, I don't know. They were like I think they were 243s. But yeah, we went at 3,000 pounds. We went 470s with like stock heads, factory crank, and block. So we raced that car competitively for like 3 years, and then we ended up selling it, and that's kind of what transitioned. And then actually we raced Mike and Sam Farmer's an ultra street car after that. We did it some with their motor and then some with ours. So yeah, that car was awesome, man. It made us really relatable. It was a cheap car, you know, and we had a lot of success with it. Had our 8.8 in the back and used that thing for parts development. It ended up we went a 445 with that car on 26s at 3,000 pounds. So it wasn't like a super light car. It wasn't any of those things. It just worked extremely well. Still had factory torque boxes in it. Not, you know, so just an 8.8 with some adjustable brackets on it. So if that's like, you know, you're trying to, you know, go racing on a budget, a Mustang is the best with a turbo S. You can go super far with it. You don't need all the, you know, you don't need torque boxes. You don't need all this stuff, man. They work awesome the way that they are. So yeah, it was just a matter of time before we went back to a boost. The nitrous stuff just got, you know, we were hurting it a lot. But with this stuff, I think you have to have a storyline, and we really didn't want to take the nitrous engine out until we heard it. And it was, you know, it's really just a matter of time before that happens. It just happened probably a little faster than we thought. I would have actually liked to have my nitrous engine this weekend, but just for the surface that we were on, honestly, we would have done better with the nitrous deal. Yeah. But yeah, so we ended up trading. My friend Nick Taylor, he's got a buddy that ended up having this billet big block sitting there, and he was kind of half-heartedly looking for a nitrous engine. So you came in. Brad is actually working on an old nitrous engine right now. That's what he was working on. So we're putting our nitrous engine in his buddy's car. It's a 6.0 Cert Malibu, very similar to Charlie. That car's going to be for sale. So if you're looking for something that's sweet, it'll have Charlie's engine in it, turbo 400, you know, whole deal. We'll probably take it out a couple times and test it for him, make sure it's all lined out, and then we'll help him sell it. So we traded basically our engine fixed and the labor to put it in this car for this billet big block and, ProCharger setup. So it, financially it worked.
Yeah.
Right. And it makes more power, all the good things. So, yeah.
And what kind of supercharger? I know it's a ProCharger, but
Yeah.
exactly what size?
It's an F3136.
Okay.
So that's about what you use on a big block Chevy. Common misconception with nitrous or a ProCharger or any of it is bigger is better, right? Like more is better. Like, well, a nitrous engine, the reason they get bigger is they only ingest so much nitrous per cubic inch. So you can't just spray it harder. Like there comes to a point where you're spraying it as hard as
And it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. It won't. Yeah, it cannot. Just like your lungs, it can only ingest so much. So that's why you see these big monster engines. It's not. They do make a little more power in A, but that's not the thing. They need more volume in the cylinders to ingest more nitrous. So yeah, we just couldn't. Actually it was cool. We talked to Kai Kelly at King of the South, and he was pitted right next to us. And the shocker had a real similar combination of what Charlie had. It was a 5-inch bore space. His was a Musi motor. Ours was a BES. And he had been a little faster than us, not much, but his car weighed about 400 or 500 pounds lighter than what Charlie did. So to know that we were kind of nipping on his heels at the weight that we were at, like, man, there really wasn't much more to be gained with the nitrous combo. I feel like after having that conversation, I'm like, I feel good about putting this to bed, like it's time for something else.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. So far, I know you all have had the ProCharged engine in Charlie Brown for a couple months now.
Yeah.
What kind of times are you seeing as far as, compared to what you saw with the nitrous? Nitrous.
Right now, it's just a little bit faster than the nitrous deal on the slicks. We haven't put it on radials yet, which I think it's really going to shine on radials. Okay. But it was a little bit faster. This weekend we just came back from a $100,000 race at Bowling Green. Man, that surface was really, really greasy. It was a true no prep. They stuck to their word. It was really, I mean, it was slick. And a lot of people had these big outlandish times that they thought people would run, and man, it was pretty slow in comparison, right? Yeah. I would have loved to have had my nitrous car there. We knew we had way more laps with the nitrous deal, right? So if the surface would have been better, or we would have raced more at night, then I would pick what we had. But as it turned out, they had rain, they had all this stuff, so we really didn't run at night much. It was all during the heat of the day, which the nitrous car was very dangerous in that kind of deal. You know? So I would have rather had it then. So, and we just had some dumb issues with it. It's, we've been, by the time you drop this my video will already be out, but we found some problems with it. Nothing major. It's just,
I called Tony and we went through some stuff, and he feels like the camshaft is completely wrong for what we're doing. So brought it up here. Me and Tony pulled the cam out of it. He's got a guy named Charlie Westcott, which Charlie Westcott is an NHRA Superstock guy. I'm going to take the cam to him, and he's actually going to regrind it. So,
well, that was a super quick transaction. We were, in fact, in the right place. Charlie should be thumping pretty soon. So what they did is they took the camshaft that we already had, and then he re-profiled these lobes and stuff. I can see where they're kind of looking new, and did what Bischoff asked. So
it is a Proline engine, so nice, but somebody had changed some stuff after that. So we kind of had a build sheet that we went off of, and then it just wasn't running. And to be completely honest, we were kind of bummed on the dyno because we just felt like we were missing something. And we ended up, because Bischoff's one of my good friends. I'm lucky that we have such a great relationship. He's awesome. And ended up taking it up there, and he found some stuff that shouldn't have been, right, that were causing us issues. And It's still not 100%. Tony kind of went through it as quick as he could. And actually, he just called me this morning and he had some other ideas of what we need. I mean, it's running good, but you're always looking for more.
It's running good, but there may be a little more potential there that you're leaving on the table. So.
Yeah, there's a lot more there. And I think that with no prep specifically, it's getting, it's continually getting faster. And, the talent pool is really getting deep, so like, I think, no prep started as, a lot of normal guys going out there and doing this thing. And then it's kind of escalated. And a lot of times I think people see, people like Brad and I as professional drag racers, which we're not. Like I go to work every day. We just happen to own a race car shop, which is sick. It does give us a lot of advantages, but now with, the street outlaw guys kind of stepping down, not all of them, but there's a lot of them that, man, they race car for a living, and they're testing as much. We test a lot, so I'm not going to say that we don't, but they test even more than us, so now, a car that is like Charlie with a factory, the factory motor replacement basically, and still stock style suspension. It's 500 to 600 pounds heavier than most of the people that we're racing against. So in no prep trim, I know you guys have seen videos of how light it is, but that's with no weight in it. So to get it to work on no prep, you got a pile of weight in the back of it. So, I think it's time for something new,
I gotcha.
I think we'll probably run Charlie on radials quite a bit the rest of the season. We've been wanting to do that anyway. And because when you take the weight out of the back, it's about 55-ish% on the nose, which that's perfect for a drag radial on a good surface, right? So then it's pretty light. It's like 2650 with me in it, which is that a boogie, right? Because now the percentages are where we need to be. So
Gotcha.
It's nice to not have to go and fill the bottles and stuff for sure. That's a cool thing. There is the maintenance on the engines is pretty similar, right? Like they're both going to need rods every 50 passes. You got to adjust the valves a lot. The other difference is the ProCharger deal. You go through a lot of oil, like you have to change the oil like every 5 or 6 passes. So that gets expensive. The ProCharger and the gear drive both get changed every 5 or 6 passes, and the engine. So you're changing a lot of oil. But we don't have to fill, 15 nitrous bottles before we leave. So we did the math. It took to run Charlie Brown down the racetrack as a nitrous car with the wear and tear in the tires, the nitrous that you're using, the price of the race fuel. It was about $250 a pass.
Oh, wow.
So every time I went down.
Pretty substantial.
Yeah. Which I'm sure the new deal is probably, I haven't done the math on the new deal, but the, methanol is cheaper than race gas, because you're just running alcohol, that you can get that really cheap. Now your cost of oil is going up, but you're not having to fill nitrous every time. Like even like nitrous, if you come in here and you want to buy it from us, we charge $12 a pound, which some people freak out about that. But man, it's just like, I think, forget what we pay. It's not, we don't get that great of a deal on it. Nitrous is just more expensive now. So, and sometimes it gets hard to get, like there's times that there's shortages and all that stuff.
I know. I worked at Central Kentucky Motorsports for a while, and we had a nitrous filling station, because I'm not sure if you know one of the owners, Brad Stennett.
Okay.
He, I don't know if he still does. He did drag bikes. I forgot. I think he had a Hayabusa at one point in time, but I know that was one of the things that we had a nitrous refilling station, and we just never had any nitrous to be able to refill it because there was a shortage going on at the time. So
it happens sometimes. So, and I think in the realm of storytelling, Brad and I we have a new car that we're getting ready to start on for us. It won't be Charlie's replacement. It's just going to do something, better than what Charlie can do.
A Tin Soldier Racecars R&D car.
Yeah. And which Charlie's always been that. We've I would say now, like, Charlie's been update after update after update. There's a wall of really sweet stuff that we've built up here. But it's kind of sad that us as the owners of Tin Soldier, we've actually never raced a complete Tin Soldier built car because we've never had time to do that.
Yeah.
So now we're going to make the time. We got some new parts that we want to work on, stuff like that. This would be a perfect time to do that. Well, if you haven't already, you should definitely subscribe to his channel.
Yeah, there you go.
And I hope it takes you places you never thought you would go, man. So just